Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Mosai, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshua, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So you got to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. In a sincere salutation to all the occupants pushing the truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akwa who are listening and learning, you few sisters who are listening and learning. Coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another day of edification, Lord willing to be edifying. So I titled this lesson, The Prophecy Was Written of This Fallen Empire. The prophecy of North America was written in the scriptures. So this is Babylon the Great. This is this is the Roman Empire. This is Rome 2.0. So, and I was thinking about in Revelations 13, right? So it says, just read this. Lord, wouldn't it be edifying? And shalom to the Akim and the Atwa from the coming board tuning in, and to them that tune in. Yahweh Shema Shah Brakatham. So I was meditating on this, right? Because the scriptures say that the end of their times may come through them. So when you look at history, you always had these Edomites fighting amongst themselves, right? Like the building up of Babylon the Great, North America, dealing with the French, the Spanish, and the British, right? America, America stemming out of Great Britain. These devils has always been fighting amongst themselves. When you look at history, when you look at truth, you got to think about the beginning rulership of the so-called white man is with the Greeks, right here, this leopard, right? Well, during this time of the Greek Empire, you had the four generals of Alexander the Great, right? Of Alexander the Greek. You had these four generals, which are all Edomites, who fought amongst themselves, right? This has always been a part of the so-called white man's history. And the Lord had it written in the scriptures for us, so we'll understand. So let's read this. This is Revelation 13:1. It reads, the beast from the sea, right? The sea representing the people. And I stood upon the center of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which this is beginning rulership of the so-called white man. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. And this is what I want to deal with. It saying his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which you can read that in Psalms 10, 1 through 10, and in 1 Peter 5 and 8, it tell you as a roaring lion, the so-called white man walking around seeking whom he may devour. Through what? Through his policies, his legislations, his democracy, his draconian measures, right? His constitutions, and they set traps for so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and for all the other heathen nations for that matter. That's why they got economic hitmen, right? They set up this fiat currency as a Ponzi scheme. They got this economic hitmen. They loan money to these countries, okay, predatory lending that they know these countries can't pay back, man. So this is who we dealing with. It's a and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which is the beginning rulership of the Greeks. When you look up this history about the leopard that Alexander the Greek used, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. So this is saying, remember it say that the end of their times may come through them. So this is the beginning rulership of the so-called white man with the Greeks, the leopard, and the feet. It said the feet as of a bear, because Russia is going to be the end of the so-called white man's system. Okay, the Lord say Gog and Magog. He's using them. They Edomites as well, but he's using them to destroy the North America Edomites. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. So again, the end of their times may come through them. Who? The Edomites. This is Edomite on Edomite prophecy, man. Now, let's get this. In Jeremiah, and this is beautiful, man, because the Lord got these devils destroying themselves. I'm going to read the scripture. Say his own counsel shall cast him down. Okay? His own counsel. It ain't going to come by no other nation. It's going to be Edomites to destroy the Edomites, man. This is beautiful. The Lord is cold, man. Okay? Strategic chess moves, man. So this is Jeremiah 15:45. See, it said prophecy against Babylon. Real quick, let's get the heading. See, prophecy against Babylon. And this ain't talking about the ancient Babylon. This is talking about Babylon the Great. So it says in Jeremiah 15:45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Babylon, and his proposes that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Who is the least of the flock? It's talking about the elites, man. Okay. The video I did the other day when I showed you this this list, this 60 list, the list of these 60 families, right? It's called the globalists, the global elites, right? These are the least of them, man. Okay. Out of all the Edomites on the planet, these be the least of them, which is the elites. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Who is the least of them? Them that control the entire planet, man. Okay? They own everything. Cars getting manufactured, clothes, food, electronics, they own everything. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Draw who out? So the least of the Edomites is going to draw out the rest of the Edomites. Mainly, let's say namely Russia. Okay? And the Allies is going to join with Russia to destroy North America, man. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Okay? He's going to make their habitation, who? The Edomites' habitation, desolate with them. Who is the them? The Edomites. So let's get this real quick in 2nd Ezra. See, this is prophecy of the Edomites' empire being destroyed by none other than Edomites. This is 2nd Ezra 11:39, dealing with the Roman Empire, which America is the revival Roman Empire. And this is 2nd Ezra 11:39, said the exact same thing as said in Jeremiah 15:45. This is 2nd Ezra 11:39. It reads, are not thou it that remainest of the fourth beast, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? So the end of the Edomite times It's going to come through the Edomites. So again, Jeremiah 15:45 reads, therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon, and his proposes that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation, what habitation? The Edomites' lineage, desolate with them, with the Edomites. And to show you this ain't talking about ancient Babylon, when you go to Jeremiah 51, let's go to Jeremiah 51, and we're going to start at verse 60. Listen to this. So this is Jeremiah 51 and 60. This is showing you this is not talking about ancient Babylon. It reads, so Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that shall come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Sariah, when thou comest to Babylon, and shall see, and shall read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Yahweh, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it. Hold on. The ancient Babylon, which is in Iraq, is occupied right now, man. It's people living there, man. In the ancient Babylon in Iraq. That's the ancient Babylon. Go look at it. Go look it up. So it say, then shall thou say, O Yahweh, that has spoken against this place, North America, to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither shall man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. Verse 63, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book. Hold on. What does scripture say in Ezekiel 3? In Amos chapter 8, 11, right? The famine of the word. There's going to come a point, there's going to be an end of reading the scriptures, man. Okay? See, these go together. It's going to be a famine of the word. Okay? Understand this. This ain't for low-level thinkers, and this ain't for faint-hearted Israelites. Okay? It say, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. Now you got the ancient Euphrates River, right? Then you got the new Euphrates River spiritually, which is the Mississippi River. So again it say, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book. That wasn't the end of reading the Bible when the Babylonian Empire went down, man. Okay? So it couldn't be talking about the ancient Babylon, because they were still reading of the Bible when the ancient Babylon was taken down, man. You got to think about all these things, man. And it shall be, Jeremiah 51 and 63, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, a famine of the word coming, Amos 8 and 11, that didn't happen during the time of ancient Babylon, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. Verse 64, and thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon it, that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her. Now, the ancient Babylon was taken down by the Medes and Persians, right? So what is this talking about? It's talking about North America. It's a different evil. The evil that came on ancient Babylon was the Medo and Persian Empire taking it down. Thus shall, and thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Now I want to read this again in verse 63, because it say, and it shall be, and it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. Well, again, the book was still being read after the time when the Babylonian Empire went down by the Medes and the Persians, man. So what does it mean when it says shall be an end of reading this book? And it say, he said he told Sariah to bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. Well, a precept to that is Revelation 18. What is that? 20. Let's see. Right here, 21. This is Revelation 18 and 21. When you read this chapter, it's about Babylon falling. Let's get to heading. This is a precept that go right with that chapter in Jeremiah 51. Babylon is falling, right? See, it say lament for Babylon. So it say Revelation 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. Right? You see it? But the ancient Babylon is still here on the earth, man. It's still being, as people living in ancient Babylon. So see how Revelation 18 and 21 link with this. Jeremiah 51 and 62. Thus should thou say, O Yahweh, that hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book. Why it's going to be an end? Because the so-called white man's rulership will be over, man. Okay? See, the prophecies is about this devil. And you got to think. The Messiah said that the Roman Empire will be in rulership when he returned. The so-called white man will be in rulership when the Messiah returns, man. It's all over the scriptures. When you go to Daniel 7, let's get this real quick. We don't come back. And if you ain't in for the long run, you might well leave now. This is Daniel 7. Let's start at verse. I don't know why I keep putting an S on Daniel. Salakia. So in Daniel chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse just to read the point. This is Daniel 7:6. It reads, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. Then I just read this in Revelation 13. Let's pull that again. So let's say Daniel 7 and 6. And after this I beheld, and lo, this is talking about the four beasts. And after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Right? So this is the beginning rulership of the so-called white man. And after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. Right? Well, when you go to Revelation 13 and 2, it said what? And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which is the beginning rulership of the so-called white man, starting with Alexander the Greek or Alexander the Edomite. Let's say that, because he wasn't a Greek. The Greeks was the sons of Japhet from Noah's second son, from Noah, from Noah's second oldest son, Japhet. Okay, so it's Alexander the Edomite, and the beast, which I saw like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, because the Russia will be the end of the so-called white man's rulership. All of them: Turkey, Australia, Sweden, Switzerland, Ireland, England. Well, hey, they control the planet, man. But the end of them will be through Russia, man. Okay? So let's go back. So in Jeremiah 51 and 62, then shall thou say, O Yahweh, that hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever, right? And it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that's Amos 8 and 11, a famine of the word is going to take place, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Now, let's move on. In Job, and this is beautiful because the Lord said that these devils is going to destroy themselves. This is how the Lord set it up, man. You know how Israel got destroyed, how we went down, how the Lord cast us down. We destroyed ourselves, man. Okay? We did it to our own selves, man. This is Job 18 and 7. I want to read these points. The steps of his strength shall be straightening, and his own counsel shall cast him down. Let's get this in a different translation. Show you what it say. It said his own counsel, right? So let's get the different translations. I saw this at the plantation. Look what it say right here. NLT, Salakia. The confident strive of the wicked will be shortening their own schemes. Their own schemes will be their downfall. Right? Their own schemes, right? When you read, let me get this in Proverbs 26 and 27. Reads this. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. Look, verse 28. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it. This is some wicked, this is a wicked person right here that would think like this. It say a lying tongue, listen to this, a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it. Why? Because it's not the truth. And a flattering mouth worketh ruin. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it. Why? Because it's not the truth, man. And a flattering mouth worketh ruin. So let's go back. Job 18 and 7. The steps of his strength shall be straightening, and his own counsel shall cast him down. His own counsel, right? His own counsel shall cast him down. When I read that, what you think about? Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7. His own counsel, man. Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. What does it mean to bring somebody to the border? It's wartime. It's wartime, man. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. See, his own counsel shall bring him down. Hold on. I never read this in the NLT. Let's see what it say. Let's see what it say. Ooh. Look, all your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know, and you won't even know about it. That's cold, man. NIV say all your allies will force you to the border. Your friends will deceive you and overpower you. Those who eat your bread will set a trap for you, but you will not detect it. Ooh, they ain't gonna be the missiles that Russia got. North America defense system will not detect those missiles. Hey, that's heavy, man. See? Oh, it just gave me some more excitement today. So let's go back. This is beautiful, man. So all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. The lesson I did yesterday. The Lord said he's going to wound the head. He's going to wound this seven-headed beast, man, permanently. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Hey, it's beautiful, man, because his allies, hey, all his allies is deceiving them. This is Luke. This is beautiful, man. This is Luke 11:17. And see, from the time of Alexander the Edomite and his four generals to the time of the Spanish, French, and the British fighting amongst themselves, man. And in between that, man, these Edomites has always been fighting amongst themselves, man. Hey, when you read the stories of Israel and Judah in the book of Kings and Chronicles, we was always going against each other, man, for the throne. When you read the stories of Jake, some Jake ain't even sit on the throne for a week, man. Because the minute Jake got on the throne, other Jakes was putting him to flight, man. This how wicked Jake was in ancient time, man. Go read the stories, man. It's a lot of stories back and forth how Jake was trying to get the throne, man. And they went, Jake didn't even sit on the throne a week, man. And they was getting put to flight by other Jakes. What's going on today, man? You got Jake killing Jake over hoods, man. Over block, over territory. Right? Like I say in First Corinthians 4 and 8, they reigning like kings without us. This is what Jake doing. Jake has always been doing this. Well, the Edomites been doing it too, man. This is Luke 11:17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And you had the righteous Israelites and you had the wicked ones. And that's why we all suffer, man. That's why right now we don't have a financial problem. We have a sovereignty problem, man. You got one or two Jakes that make it, but the rest of the nation's suffering, man. Individualism, man. That's what Jake wanted about himself and his family. But what about the rest of the Jake, man? But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And a house divided against a house falleth. So you got the Democrats and Republicans, right? Which is the Flavians and the Patricians. The Roman Empire, same people over and over, man. It's a every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And a house divided against a house falleth. So you got EU and NATO, and you got North America, which is the heart that sits on the beast. They are not all in one accord, man. It just told you that in Obadiah 1. They that eat thy bread have deceived thee, man. See, it's all a game, man. It say if Satan also be divided against himself, How shall his kingdom stand? How? Let's get this in Mark. And we know the so-called white man is the physical seeds on earth of the spiritual demon Satan, man. They are his counterparts on earth, playing out his wickedness. You tell you that in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan, man. And to prove to you that the so-called white man is the physical counterpart on earth of the spiritual demon Satan, go read Genesis 3:14 and 15. The Lord say to the serpent, upon thy belly shall thou go, and dust shall thou eat all the days of thy life. Right? That's verse 14. And he said, what? I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. So the Lord told Satan he's going to put enmity between his seed, which is the Edomites, and Israel's seed, which is the Israelites. So Satan has a physical counterpart on earth that plays out his wickedness. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all powerful signs and lying wonders. Their lying wonders are their pseudoscience. Real quick, also right here in Ecclesiastes 21 and 27, it said the same thing. It reads, when the ungodly curse of Satan, he cursed of his own soul. Who is the ungodly? The so-called white man. Okay? When the ungodly curse of Satan, he cursed of his own soul, man, because they are the physical counterparts on earth of the spiritual demon Satan, man. Mark 3 and 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, which they are, that kingdom cannot stand. And the Lord got the spirit of these devils to show you the roles of the Republicans and the Democrats, right? They're supposed to be of the same party, the same house, but they're two different parties, man. If a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. What's this house? The Democrats and Republicans, the White House, the Senate, the Pentagon. Everybody got different opinions. Why they not on one accord? Because when King David was in rulership, when Israel was in power under King David and Solomon, there was one order, man, which is what? Everything was done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. But here come the Edomites, the so-called white man, in their rulership, and everything is divided, man. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, meaning his people, the Edomites, the so-called white man, he cannot stand but have an end. Let's get this. In Isaiah Isaiah 19 and 2. And it reads, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. This is talking about America, North America, Babylon the Great. This is spiritually Egypt. Say that in Revelations 11 and 8. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. This is the Edomites against the Edomites. These YouTubers like Redacted and uh, Glenn Beck, and you got Double Seven, and going against the elites, man. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. Hold on. Now they all juiced in, but you got Richard Wolf, Gerald Salente, you got Jeremy Babe, right? You got Peter Schiff, Ron Paul, all Edomites, but they telling you how the dollar's collapsing, how the infrastructure is deteriorating, how the economy is falling, and they all Edomites. Well, the Lord said their own counsel shall cast them down, man. In Job 18:7. Was that Psalm 64:8? The Lord say they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. And this is playing out, but you still got Jake that still love the so-called white man. And we about to fall off into 2023, man. And you got slow belly Jakes still calling on Jesus Christos. Talking about Yah and Jah and Yahshua and Yeshua and Elohim. And they love this devil, man. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor. What? City against city, and kingdom against kingdom. I just read in Luke 11:17, Matthew 3, and Mark 3, the Lord say, if a kingdom is divided, if a house is divided, it cannot stand. So here it is, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And what, Lord? And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. What's their counsel? Them coming together, sitting around rectagon and octagon tables, talking about these G7 and G8 summits, man. The Lord say, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel. What counsel? I read it yesterday. Let's read them again. In Isaiah 29:14. The Lord is destroying the wisdom of the so-called white man. That's what it's talking about. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of the prudent men shall be hid. See, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Well, now everything is being exposed. They don't have no secret no more. So now they just on TV telling you they finna do whatever they want to do. And we can't do nothing about it because they still hold power. But the Lord has destroyed their counsels of the secret, man, in secret. In Jeremiah, these devils is out, man. The Lord said that he's going to expose the so-called white man for who they really are, man. Okay? This is Jeremiah 4:9-7. Concerning Edom, the Edomites, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? You see, it has. So now they just on TV in the open telling you they finna do whatever they want to do. They don't gotta be in secret no more saying that God, that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai isn't real. They telling you live on wax. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. See? And he shall not be able to hide himself. So now they on TV, now they on interviews telling you what they finna do, man. Them G7 summits, those G8 summits, those used to be in secret, man. Okay? Those used to be in secret, man. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbor, and he is not. So let's get one more. 1 Corinthians 1:19. The Lord is destroying that counsel, man. It's their wisdom. For it is written, so like in 1 Corinthians 1:19, for it is written, I will destroy the wise, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. You see? So moving on. In Psalms 64:7. And that's why we got these books. The Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomites, right? By William Beeston. So we got the book, Who is Esau Edom? By Charles Wiseman. And he said on page 5, in the book of Who's Esau Edom that the so-called white man, the Edomites, is the racial stock of the white race, man. Here's a so-called white man wrote this book, Who is Esau Edom, man? And he said that the Edomites are the racial stock of the white race, man. Well, who put the spirit on him to write that? The Lord already said in the scriptures. Before these Edomites, before these so-called white people wrote these books, William Beeston, Charles Wiseman, this book, Apostle Hart mentioned this some years ago. You know, I mentioned it from time to time. And I got the book, man, by this guy named E.G. White. The book is titled America in Prophecy, man. Go read the book. You can get it on Google. I mean, you can get it on Amazon for like $5, $6, man. America in Prophecy. He goes into how North America is Babylon the Great, man. Okay? Who put the spirit on him to put this book out? The Lord did, man. I'm finna read it. Psalm 64:7. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. See, they are being wounded. Going back to the lesson I did yesterday, man. See, the wound that the Roman Empire had when they came out the caves in the 1300s, that wound was healed. That was the Roman Empire come back into power. That's why they made you learn Roman numerals in school. But if you go to Google right now and type in Greek and Roman infrastructure, it's going to show you Washington. It's going to show you the Vatican and other parts of the world, that the infrastructure of every country, the main downtown areas, the main parts of the city of that country, it looked like Petra, man, with the columns on the buildings, man. Okay? Go to Google and type in Greek and Roman infrastructure, man. Architecture. It's gonna give you the same infrastructure of America, of Russia, of France, of Sweden, England. It's gonna give you the same architecture, man. Go look it up. I did a lesson on it some while ago, a few months ago. It said, but God shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue. The book Who is Esau Edom, the Roman Empire. Oh, as Elder Malcolm brought out years ago, this book, the encyclopedia, right? The 1925 encyclopedia. What it say now on page 41? That Edom, the so-called white man, is modern day Jewry. Go look it up. It's on Google too. If you can't get the book, go look it up on Google. It's there, man. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Let's get a precept to back up this. How they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. This is Job 15:5. The Lord already had it written in the scripts for us, man. We know who we're dealing with. We don't need the so-called white man. We don't need vocab Malone validation. We know who the so-called white man is. They are the Edomites, man. Job 15:5. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity. Remember what it said in Proverbs 26? Let's read that again. I brought it out yesterday. Let's hold this. Proverbs 26. Let's hold that. So let's say Job 15:5. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. So like you, thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yeah, thy own lips testify against thee. So the Lord put the spirit on these devils to come up with these different books, man. So this is Proverbs 26:24. He that hateth dissimilar with his lips. See the same thing in Job 15:6. And layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Meaning he's totally wicked, man. Okay? He's perfectly wicked. That's what 7 mean, completion. 7 abominations in his heart, man. That means you are completely wicked. Because the number 7 means completion. whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. Everybody see the devil, the so-called white man, for who they really are, man. Okay. Oh, when you go into in um in Proverbs 18:3, right? I read yesterday. It say, when the wicked cometh, then cometh contempt and ignominy reproach. One of the words for ignominy, when you look it up on Google, it say loss of face, stigma, right? Stigma, that stigma, which is the mark, man, the mark that the Lord put on Cain, which Cain came back reincarnated as Esau. Okay, so they have a mark on them, which is what? No pigment, no melanin, so their blood, or let's say no pigment, lack of melanin, so their blood show forth through their skin, which give them different shades of red and pink. Okay, they from a pink, as the elder North Carolina say, they from a pink to a cherry red, man. Okay, that's the mark that the Lord put on the so-called white man. They have no melanin, so their blood show forth through their skin, man. Different shades of red and pink. Hence the word Edom, Edomite, which means to be red, man. Go look it up. Let's get this. In Proverbs, now remember it said in Job that his own counsel shall cast him down, right? And that's why I read Obadiah 1:7, right? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Meaning what? To be cast down. This is Proverbs 15:22. It reads, without counsel, proposals are disappointed. But in the multitude of counselors, they are established. See, this is how the devil do. They sit around a rectagon in the octagon table, and they come up with strategies, which I'm going to read in Micah 2, right? It said, woe to him that sit upon his bed and think about evil all the day long, which I'm going to read. This is Proverbs 20:18. Because right here it said, without counsel, proposals are disappointed. But in the multitude of counselors, they are established, right? This is Proverbs 20:18. It reads, every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice, make war. This is what they do. First, they make plans, they G7 summits, right? Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice, make war. This is what they do. So they sit around, right? Let's get this. They sit around and come up with plans. Well, it said his own schemes shall cast him down. His own counsel is going to cast him down, man. See, woe to oppressors, man. Who are the oppressors? The so-called white man. The scripture tell you in Deuteronomy 28:48 that they was going to put a yoke of iron on our neck, man. You don't have to accept it because you are antichrist if you don't. Because the words of the Lord is pure, man. Purified 7 times, man. Which means it's perfect. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. Why, Lord? Because it is in the power of their hands. What's this guy just said? Noah, what's his name is? Noah Yuval Harari. He said it's not about truth, it's about power. And we already know this. That's why our so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, and Haitian women flock to the so-called white man because they still have some power. Some power. Because their power is diminishing day by day. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. Job 9:24 said the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Okay? This is Proverbs. Proverbs. So they sit up all night scheming and plotting, man. And it's all about how they're gonna destroy You Israelites with what? GMO food, contaminated waters, chemtrails in the air, uh, pushing Transformers and Decepticons equal to act rights, passing bills of bestiality laws when they know the Lord is total against all these things, and they doing it anyway. Why? Because 2 Thessalonians 2:4 say the man of sin, the son of perdition, is opposite, he's adverse to the Lord, man. That's why he's known as Satan, which Satan just means adversary, man. He's opposite of the Most High. As the scriptures say, the so-called white man don't believe in God. They believe in science, pseudoscience, which is false, lying science, which is them controlling the narrative. Why? Because they have the power. Proverbs 4:16 it reads, "For they sleep not." Hold on. Now I just read this in Micah. Let's read again. Micah 2:1. See what it say? Woe to oppressors. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. Right? See, they sit upon their beds and work evil. Right? Here's the precept. Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not. See, they all go together. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. See, that's what the Lord said in Proverbs 3. Since I'm here, might well read it. Proverbs 3:31. It reads, "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." Why? Because they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But what Jake do? Jake want to walk around in suits and ties, right? I know Jakes that eat their steaks with blood in it, man. I know Jakes that does this. My best friend in the world love his steaks like that, man. Okay? Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. A lot of Jakes eat their steaks bloody, medium rare, steak tartare. Yeah. Jake want to walk around with suit and ties on. Yeah. We know people like that, man. This is Psalm 31:13. It reads, "For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side." Why? Why is fear on every side? Let me show you. In Psalms 12:8, it reads this. But the Lord told us not. The Lord, tell you in 2 Timothy 1:7, that the Lord didn't get the elect the spirit of fear, man, but of power and a sound mind. Psalms 12:8, it reads, "The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted." Go read Job 30:7. It tell you that the so-called white man who came out the caves, it tell you in Job 30 that they was in the caves, man. That's the word Caucasian mean cave dweller. Go look it up. Don't take my word for it. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. So, why is there fear in the earth? Because the so-called white man and his wicked devices, man. For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. Why? Because the vilest men are exalted. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. And this is what they do, man. We're dealing with the so-called white man. Just get this. Because they sit up all night with their counsels, man. This is Psalms 38:12. It reads this. It said, "They also that seek after my life lay snares for me, and they that seek my hurt speak mischievous things. Well, in their G summits, man. And imagine deceits all the day long. Yeah, this is what we dealing with. The slanderer, man. The so-called white man. This is Psalms 2 and 2. It reads, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. To do what? They're against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. This is what they're doing. Well, guess what the Lord is doing? Now the Lord got them. Well, they're trying to come against us and destroy us on every side with chemtrails and GMO food and passing these laws to have Jake out here smoking weed, popping pills, sipping lean, committing adultery, killing each other, dying from eating these abominable foods and drinking these abominable drinks, Kool-Aid and sodas and juicy juice. We ain't drink none of that in the ancient time, man. We didn't drink none of this stuff in ancient time, man. Wasn't no juicy juices and sodas, pops, uh, uh, Hawaiian punch, and wasn't none of that Mountain Dews, man. Wasn't none of this in ancient time, man. Dr. Peppers. Jake right here dying, slowly death dying off drinking juicy juice, man. Everybody fried chicken, fried foods, man. Wasn't no fried foods in the ancient time, man. It wasn't, man. We around here eating fake sugar, processed sugar, man. We ate real sugar. You try to get Jake to eat a fruit today. Jake will take eating a Snicker over eating some cherries or some grapes, man. Or some plums, man. Jake will take a Hershey Kisses over eating grapes, man. Right now, pull up on Jake and ask them do they want a bag of grapes or a bag of chocolate candy, man. See what they see what they say, man. That's how destroyed we is, man. The so-called white man did this, man. Cause who own the food processing plants? Huh? Who own the candy stores? Who make the candy? The so-called white man. Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians don't own nothing. This is Psalms 33 and 10. And it reads, because this is what's going on. See, the Lord is destroying their counsel. He's taking their wisdom. He's destroying them. And he got Edomites exposing Edomites, man. Psalm 33 and 10. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. When you go to this, here's another verse about schemes. NLT, Psalm 33 and 10. The Lord frustrate the plans of the nations and thwart all their schemes. See? All their schemes are going to come tonight, man. Let's get this in Psalms 21:11. So this is all they do, man. And see, the reason they do this because the Lord set them up on the left hand side to destroy the earth, man, which I'm going to read. Psalm 21:11. For they intended evil against thee, against the Israelites. They imagine a mischievous device, which is in the end all be all goal is they have everybody to take the mark of the beast, man. They want everybody tagged like cows. For they intended evil against thee. That's why they got you through gradualism and conditioning. Everybody is accepting the digital currency, man. Everybody is accepting the digital system, man. That's what they got. That's what it's Cash App and PayPal, Cash App, Apple Pay, and PayPal. Okay, digital, credit cards, because they are conditioning you, transforming you to no cash, man. For their intended evil against thee, they imagine a mischievous device. What's the device? The MOTB, man. The mark of the beast, which they are not able to perform because it's going to fail. It will fail, man. Thus saith the Lord. Well, let me get this before I forget. In Jeremiah, was that Jeremiah 51, showing you who we're dealing with. The Lord said he's going to remove them, man. It's Jeremiah 51 and 25. And look how the Lord cold, man, because he's talking to you, Jakes, right here in verse 24. It reads, I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea and all the evil that they have done in Zion. Zion is you Israelites, in your sight, saith the Lord. So we've been with the Lord, so we've been watching these devils bring evil upon us, man, in our sight. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. And that's why I tell you in Ezekiel 35, the Lord told Ezekiel to prophesy against Mount Seir, man. See, this is the destroying mountain. Let's get that. Let me hold it. These precepts go precept upon precept, man. So again, Jeremiah 51 and 25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith Yahweh, which destroys all the earth. There's only one nation of people on the planet that's destroying the earth. The Chinese don't control the chemtrail that's in the air. The Chinese don't control the GMO foods and the contaminated waters. Oh, I just did the lesson a few weeks ago. They just passed a law to sell us cloned meat. And we've been, listen, you have been buying cloned chicken. The chicken ain't real, man. The Lord said in Ezekiel 4 and 13 that we should eat our food defiled among the Gentiles. That's why we eating garbage food, man. Listen, man. They are selling you fake meat, man. Okay? They've been doing it, man. This guy, Bill Gates, bound up all the farmland and got the people destroying. They got all the farmers and the cattle, the herdsmen, destroying the cattle, destroying the crops. I just put an article. Matter of fact, let me read it. Because I just put this article in the chat. Let me read this to you, man. It's only one nation of people that's doing this, man. That's why they got to be removed, man. So let me read this. I put in the chat yesterday, last night, actually. So let me show you what it say. So I might do a lesson on this too. So it say, this is from bigthink.com, the future, December 25th, 2022. World's biggest cultivated meat factory is being built in the U.S. It will be able to produce 22 million pounds of cultivated meat annually. Listen to this. Cultivated meat is produced by combining muscle cells extracted from living animals. Instead of just getting the living animals, they are extracting muscle cells from living animals with substance that help the cells grow. The mixture is then placed inside a machine called a bioreactor, which provides the ideal conditions for the cells to multiply, because cultivated meat is molecularly identical to the kind that comes from whole animals. So these niggas is selling us lab grown meat for real. It's because cultivated meat is molecularly identical to the kind that comes from whole animals. It has the same flavor for cultivated meat to have any real impact on the meat industry, though the companies making it need to get costs down, for instance, by scaling up production. Come on, man. Who is doing this? It ain't the Chinese that's doing this, man. It ain't the Japanese that's doing this. Okay? It ain't the Iranians that's doing this, man. Who is doing this? You know who's doing it. You know who's doing it. It's the so-called white man that's doing this, man. Okay? So Jeremiah 51 and 25, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith Yahweh, which destroys all the earth, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks and will make thee a burnt mountain. Let me show you talking about the so-called white man. It's a destroying mountain, not with an S, single. This is prophecy against Mount Seir. Ezekiel 35 and 1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, because this is where the Edomites come from. They came from Mount Seir, which they stole from the Canaanites, from one of the tribes of the Canaan, the Horites. They stole it. Well, the Lord gave it to them. They took this from the Horites, man. Okay? Well, it was given to them. The Lord gave them this portion. They come out of Mount Seir, which they got from the Horites. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir, which is a mountain, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee. And I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. That's what I'm reading in Jeremiah 51 and 25. It say, I will lay thy cities waste. The Lord said it in Malachi 1 and 4. What did Edom say? We will return and build the desolate places. The Lord said, they shall build, but I will throw down. I will lay thy cities waste. See, prophecy, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had an end. Right? Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. See, he's talking about the nation of Edomites. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in thy rivers, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. See? And I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy cities shall not return. See? And ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. See, the Lord said, they cities shall not return. Let's get it in Malachi. Beautiful prophecies, man. Okay? Of the so-called white man being destroyed, man. Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. See? And they did when they came out of caves in the 1300s, man. Because they went down for 1,000 years. And they came out of the caves in the 1300s and took flight and to see the world with their iconoclasm, their Renaissance art. Renaissance meaning rebirth of the so-called white man coming out the caves. Hence the word Caucasian, which means cave dweller. Go look it up. It say, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. See? So closing precept, Revelation. There's only one nation of people that's destroying the earth, man. There's only one nation of people that's selling us GMO food, contaminated water, water in plastic bottles, man. The BPA, and they got pork in the plastic, man, because we dealing with the devil, man. Revelation 11:18, it reads, And the nations were angry. Why? Why the nation angry? Because of the so-called white man taking their resources, taking their minerals, controlling the earth through his policies, his legislations, his democracy, his philosophies, his draconian measures. And thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, which are Israelites, because this is a heritage of servants the Lord established for his people, the Israelites, and to the saints, which are Israelites, and to them that fear thy name. The only nation that fear the name of the Lord are so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. And that's only the hopeful elect of them, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Again, who's destroying the earth? The so-called white man. So, this is my closing precept. So this showing you the Lord is bringing these devils down, man, because now they in the open and telling you of their the enterprise they are pushing, which is what Agenda 2030, which is controlling all resources, right? Carbon footprint, tracking your food. They say from the soil to the fork, they want to track. They are going to track your food, what you eat daily, from the soil to the fork, which is nothing is getting produced from the soil no more. Everything is being grown in the laboratory. Okay, so they got Agenda 2030 tracking your food, your money, and you. Oh, smart cities. Agenda 2030 is the push for the Jetsons, man. They're pushing smart cities, smart cars, smart homes, smart people. Because once you take that mark, you will be part of the AI system, man. This is the enterprise that the so-called white man is pushing. But thus saith the Lord, Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty. Their devices, smart cities, smart homes, smart people, smart cars, so they can track you every day, all day. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. This devil want to track our food, what we eating, man. So you go out somewhere today, you happen to go make you an order, wherever, grocery shop. Let's say you just go to a restaurant and order some food, some takeout to take home. This devil want to track how much you paid for and what you bought, and how much of the portion that the company gave you, man. Because they could have gave you too much in a portion. Don't shake the spoon on them. And this devil is so serious, man. This devil is so serious. So, Lord was edifying. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory. Right, let's read this. Right, brother. Beautiful. Let's read this. This is our GMS Spiritual Art 144. He put up Psalm 64 and 5. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of land snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thoughts of every one of them, and the heart is deep. You see, that's them, man, because their power is coming to an end, man. Their power is coming to an end, man. Yes, their power is coming to an end. Oh, let me get this one. This was another one I saw earlier. Well, when I was at the plantation. This is Isaiah 8. And what was that? I think verse 12. Let me see. Because it was going into Jake. But everything applies now to the so-called white man. Because they in rulership. Man, I had a few more priests I want to get to. So let's say this is Isaiah 8 and 10. It reads, Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for God is with us. For the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, say ye not a confederacy to all them to whom this people say, to all them to whom this people shall say a confederacy, neither fear ye their fear, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Because 2/3 of our people want to be joined to these devils, man. Let's get it. In Isaiah, what is that? Isaiah 15. Um, what is that? Is that Isaiah 15? Um, man, they ain't brought out in a minute. Oh, it's a lot. Isaiah 13. So many precepts be running through my head, man. Isaiah 13, I think it is. Yeah, it reads, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. See? So what it said right here, Isaiah 8 and 10, take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for God is with us, the elect. He's with the hopeful elect. 2/3 of our people going to die, man. When you read this, it's talking about Jake. See, they taking counsel with these devils, man. Because Jake, was that Isaiah 30 and 12? The Lord said, our people trust in oppression and perverseness and stay their own, man. Therefore, this iniquity, what iniquity? Trusting in oppression, trusting in the so-called white man shall be to 2/3 as a breach ready to fall, man. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for power is with us. For Yahweh spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people. Who? The 2/3, man, who's following the so-called white man, saying, say ye not a confederacy to all them to whom this people shall say a confederacy, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Because the Lord tell you in 2 Timothy 1 and 7, the Lord didn't give us the spirit of fear, man, not the hopeful elect. So yeah, man. So we watching. Oh, shit, I gotta get this too, man. Oh, that's an apocryphal. Let me get this. I gotta stop because I can go on and on about this topic, man. That's why I've been on these devils kind of heavy this week, man. I'm sick of these devils. I'm sick of seeing these bastards, man. And the scripture call them bastards in Hebrews 12, man. I'm sick of seeing these bastards, man. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 14. It reads, the Lord have cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. And the Lord did this to us, man. He cast us down and he set the so-called white man on top, man. Right? Go read Daniel 4 and 17. The Lord have cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. The Lord have plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. This happened to us first. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them. You can read that in Daniel 7. And have made their memorial to cease from the earth. When you read in Daniel 7, it's a matter of fact, let me read it. The Lord is going to destroy the Edomites, but all the other heathen nations that was joined to the beast, they're going to get to go back into their lands. Let's get it here. Daniel 8, no, Daniel 7, and what is that, 11, I think it is. Let's read. Yeah. So this is what it's talking about right here, what I just read in Ecclesiasticus. This is Daniel 7 and 11. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even to the beast was slain, right? And his body destroyed and given to the burning flame, right? What beast? This Edomite system, what I'm dealing with now, Revelation 13, right? The end of their times might come, the end of their times will come through them. Edomites destroying Edomites. That's why I said he saw the beast that was like a leopard, but the feet of it was the feet of a bear, because the Lord's going to use the Russian Edomites to destroy the American Edomites. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. See right here, verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they have their dominion taken away because they ain't gonna be in power no more. We are. Yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. So let me read it here again to you, Ecclesiastes 10 and 16. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away, the Edomites, and destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. So the Lord going to take some of them away, the beast system, right, which is going to be the Edomites, but the rest of the other 16 heathen nations will be able to go back into their land because they're going to bring tributaries to us forever. Now let me close with this to show you these devils going to bring us tributaries forever, man, because we have been their tributaries since we failed, man. This is Lamentations 1 and 1. It reads, the sorrow of Zion. How doeth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? And you can read that in 2nd Ezra 2 and 2 about how Israel is a widow. She that was great among the nations. See, the Lord gave us his wisdom, his laws, statutes, and commandments, his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It say, how is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations and princess among the provinces. How is she become tributary? See, she weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she have none to comfort her. That's why Yahweh Shai sent us to comfort her, man. Because you can't get comfort following these heathen nations, man. They don't care about you. Hey, we the biggest consumers of all these people. Okay? They make money off us. Their riches, their billions and trillions was off the blood, sweat, and tears off the backs of so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. That's how North America was built, man. Off the blood, sweat, and tears, off the backs of so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. It say, among all her lovers, she have none to comfort her. We don't need that comfort. The Lord has sent us the comforter, man. That's why we know all things. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. And the Lord did it, man. We are tributary to all these nations. Well, guess what? In the kingdom of heaven, all you nations will be our tributaries forever. The water Yahweh Shema Shai. Kala Yahweh Shema Shai, man. We just waiting patiently. I can tell you in Hebrew 12 and 1, man. We're running this race patiently, waiting patiently, man. Eighth, well, I've posted no precept too. Isaiah 60, cold killer to all these heathen nations being tributaries to us, man. So, hey, gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rikah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the bishops and elders, great millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all Israel, ready, accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the occupant pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akbar who are listening and learning. If your sisters are listening and learning. Lord was edifying to next time I say shalom. Hey, the water for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema Shah continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. Wa a barber ball. Hey, the water for the precepts, man. The water. Yahweh Shema Shah Barakathum.